Henk Akkerman, Supply Chain Dynamics, Chapter 11, Virtuous and Vicious Cycles in ERP. Sysdea Gameplay 2, Project Team Competence. Project Team Competence is modeled here as sort of an implicit co-flow to the team members. The team members aren't physically in the model, we just model their competence, how good they are. So that's an important stock, and as we've seen, that competence has an impact on the productivity of the business modeling process. And you can also see here that starts at sort of halfway where you would like it to be, and then grows rapidly to stay at a high level of 2. Competence, the stock is a result of 2 inflows and 1 outflow. There's an obvious competence growth as a learning by doing flow. So the more designs you complete, the more you learn. For every design you complete, there's a certain amount of learning that takes place. There's also a possibility to boost competence by having new staff join the team, and to get the team competence at the level that is required. So this then activates a negative feedback loop to make the project team equal to the required competence over a certain competence boost delay. But as you see, that depends on a switch collaboration mode, which is default set to 0, but which in period 5 is switched to 1, as we'll see later on. So that's an inflow, 2 inflows. Outflow, well, there's a normal outflow of losing competence because people leave. This is a project. People don't stay on projects forever. In fact, the number of the team to competence is divided by the normal stay time, which is 24 months, 2 years. That sounds really reasonable, but that means that in normal situation, in half a year, you lose a quarter of all the competence. So that's a dynamic equilibrium that you have here. You need to have new expertise flowing in, else you won't be getting it. And of course, this thing, when it's activated with the negative feedback loop, will make sure that it starts at a required competence of 2. But this is a much slower process where competence only grows when you do work. And of course, the more competence you have, the more work you will do. The more work you will do, the more you will learn. So this is the feedback loop from the project team competence to progress. That's a slow but very solid feedback loop. Another effect on the loss of competence is the effect of willingness on competence. Willingness comes from another part of the model, comes from here, the willingness to collaborate. And that refers to the willingness of the team members who come from different functions to actually the willingness to collaborate on this. When that willingness is high, so say it's greater than 1, then the overall, if the willingness is low, one more time. If willingness is low, then the effect on willingness will be high. You can see that in this formula here. So with a high willingness to collaborate, so like 6, 7, or 8 people are very happy, there will be a lower than normal outflow from this willingness in terms of losing of competence. High willingness, low effect on loss of competence. People stay longer. So those are the key drivers of project team competence.